Okay, so again, just recapping because we had this big break. We took the equation, we decided to half everything, which gave us p squared plus 2p plus 8. We then moved the positive 8 to this side, becoming negative 8, because with quadratics you want them to be equal to 0, because then they're solvable. And the whole idea is when they're in that form, you can break them up into two things that you're multiplying. And we looked at the negative 8, and we looked at the 2, and we thought of two numbers that multiplied to give us negative 8, but added together to give us 2. It's the opposite of expanding, that's the idea there. Negative 2 and positive 4 were the numbers we came up with. Now finally, we just need to find out what p is. So either this bracket is equal to 0, and if I chose positive 2, that would give me 0 here. So that's one answer, p equals 2. Or this bracket is equal to 0. So a p value that would give me 0 when I add 4 to it, it would have to be minus 4. So there are two answers to that. P is 2 and p is minus 4. Yeah.
How did you tell that the equation was going to be equal to 0?
I made it equal to 0. So back here, that equation was not solvable. Okay? You can't undo little bits at a time to get to p all by itself. The only way you can deal with squared equations like this is to move everything to one side, make it equal to 0, and use this factorizing idea. So you have to learn to spot that, okay? You have to learn to see what types of equations you have to do this with. So anything where you end up with something squared plus something, those ones you want to make equal to 0. Okay, question C is actually the same type of question.
Well, how do you...
Let me move on. C might make it even clearer. So we're told that the area of this rectangle is 5 meters squared. So the area is 5 meters squared. We're told that the rectangle is 4 meters wider than it is tall. So we want to call our height some letter. You could use h, or you could go with what algebra people tend to use, which is x. So I'm going to go with that one. If that's x, this is going to be the same length plus 4 more. Alright? It's going to be x plus 4. So another way to write my area is that area is equal to x times x plus 4. Now it's important that I put those in brackets, otherwise it might look like I'm just multiplying the x's together. I'm multiplying the x and the x plus 4 together, so that's why the brackets are necessary. Alright, I have an equation because the area is 5, but the area is x plus 4. Sorry, is that a bit low? Yeah. So I can say that 5 is equal to x bracket x plus 4. Now I'm doing this quite slowly, you might skip some of these steps. The next step is to do some algebra here. And when you see brackets, one of the things that you're allowed to do is expand it. So I can go x times x, and I can do x times 4. So 5 will be equal to...
x squared.
Yep, plus
x, 4x.
Cool. Okay, and this is the same sort of thing we had back up here. It's got squareds, and it's got letters, and it's got numbers. We want to move from that form into that form. So I'm going to take that 5, and make it into 0, so I'm subtracting 5 when I do that. 0 is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 5. Okay, I'll do this next step a little bit quicker than I did last time. I'm thinking numbers that multiply to give me negative 5, but when I add them, they give me positive 4. So one's got to be negative, one's got to be positive, and it turns out that positive 5 and negative 1 are the answers. So I get 0 is equal to x, what did I say? Plus 5 and x minus 1. You have to be happy that when you expand this out, you'll get this. I'm doing the backward step of expanding, factorizing. And now it's the same step as last time. Once you've got it in brackets, it's just take the opposites of your numbers. X is equal to minus 5 and x is equal to positive 1. Alright, now I need to make sure I've answered the question. Form and solve an equation, yes I've done that, to find the dimensions of the rectangle. So I found x, but I haven't told the person how tall and how wide the TV or the rectangle is. So there's two answers. If I put minus 5 into both of these, I get something weird. I get minus 5 high, and I get positive 1 wide. No, minus 1 wide. No, that's a stupid answer. You can't have a rectangle that's -5 high and -1 wide. So I'm going to that, not sensible. And I'm going to try the other one, putting 1 into this. That would mean it's 1 meter high and 1 plus 4 meters wide. So I'd need to finish the question by saying 1 meter high, 5 meters wide. Now you might have known that without doing any of this algebra. You might have said, oh, 5 meters wide, one thing's 4 meters bigger. You could have got to an answer just by thinking about this. Unfortunately, you wouldn't have got full grades because you didn't form and solve an equation to do it. And it is a little bit overkill doing all this algebra for something that you might have just been able to think up yourself. But this method becomes more useful when you get harder problems, so that's why we're teaching it to you, okay? Let me just check. Yeah, question B2 was an excellence question. B3, sorry, and all of question C was an excellence question. Your merit questions were B1 and B2, so that was an R mark, and that was an R mark, and everything else was achieved.
Everything else in the whole test?
Everything else on that page was achieved.
Oh, okay.